Everybody. My name is Annie. I'm a compulsive eater. I weigh and measure my food off the gray sheet. I write it down. I call it into my sponsor. I don't eat in between my meals, no matter what. Abstinence is the most important thing in my life today, thank God. And my absence date is August 12th, 2017. And I am very thrilled and grateful to be here. Your booker is a dear friend of mine in this program, and I think she asked me to qualify sometime at the end of last year. And I could not manage it until today. So I've been excited to, meet you all, to be a part of this meeting. And my kids thank you as well. I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old who are upstairs watching TV and are just thrilled with the free hour of television that they get. So, this program, as I hope many of you know, has sort of rippling effects that uh, drift out. And for me in my motherhood, like that has been a huge thing. So my story is, I came from a family where food was love, and my family was very loving, so I was very well fed. And you know for me, it became clear that sneaking food, the food that I wanted to have, was self love. So that became a regular part of my growing up and my childhood. Um, and because, when food is love, when you look at your kid and you say, well, you can only have two round things today, but not three. That, you know, when food is love and when your kid is a compulsive overeater, that sounds like, oh my God, you don't love me enough because you're not giving me what I want. And the thing that I want is the thing that you're saying I can't have. So, um, you know, the confusion about food and love has just been kind of ongoing for me and was ongoing. I knew that um, people wouldn't love me unless I knew how to cook good food, because they weren't going to love me because, I, had a knockout body or anything. They were going to love me because I was nice and friendly and was a good cook. So, um, I, that made me kind of glom onto my grandmother in this way because she was an amazing cook. And so, I remember in third grade, maybe it was second grade, there was some grade where they were introducing fractions, and I was like, I know this. Like this is how we cook. It's a third of a cup of this and a fourth of a cup of that, and like whatever. And like, I thought it was the silliest thing that like there were kids who didn't understand fractions because I was an expert at them at that point. And that was the first and last time I've ever felt brilliant in mathematics. So anyway, so yeah, so I snuck a lot of food, and the thing about this disease is that it kind of um, it didn't really matter what my morals were. It didn't really matter what my intentions were. The disease just wanted more always. And, I was stealing, I was sneaking, but in my head, I rationalized it. It wasn't stealing or sneaking. It was just getting the love that I wanted and I deserved. And the people who weren't giving me the love that I wanted and I deserved didn't get it. And so, um, there was one time when I was going into my sister's stash, and because we all had stashes in our family, but I went into her stash, and there was a note that said, Annie, I know you're taking my food. Don't do it. And I kind of looked at it and went, oh, that's nice. And went right into the basket. So, you know, so I kind of lived this like double life where I wanted to be kind, I wanted to be good, I wanted to be all of these wonderful things. And I just kind of couldn't because at the same time, there I was always sneaking, lying, stealing, um, pretending I was paying attention to you, but actually paying attention to the food, pretending that I was showing up to your party because I wanted to see you, but actually showing up because I knew that somebody was bringing this, that, and the other thing. So, you know, that's that's a hard place to live in, and it's a kind of prison to be um, sort of stuck in behavior that you know is not what you want to be doing, but you can't not do it. Um, so, that was what my upbringing was like. Um, and then I had a relative who I lived with who started Gray Sheet when I was in middle school. And so I was exposed very early to the Gray Sheet program and knew that, and we went out, to a restaurant. Nobody started eating until we knew that our Gray Sheeter had everything that she needed because she might need to take a little speck of protein off our plate or all of that. So we just all waited until she was ready and then we would dig in. We knew that, sometimes things would need to get sent back. We knew that, she made her own food at home and she brought it everywhere. And so there's a lot of the strangeness about what we do was just kind of taught to me as normal. And that was a huge gift. And, I was talking about kind of the ripple effects of us doing our programs. I mean, that was one where, I was somebody who ultimately really needed this program. And even though I wasn't doing it, watching somebody else do it made it easier for me to enter the program. And there was a lot of folks that I see that come into this program are like, this is a cult. This is kind of weird. What, you take Tupperware everywhere you go and you have a scale and like, what is this? Like a lot of that bizarreness was just kind of normal to me. So that's a message I try to share a lot in meetings is that, a lot of us have relatives and people we know who could really use this program. And um, just doing what you're doing is really important and is helpful to that person. It's up to God whether they come into this program or not, or get abstinent or not. But, just by staying abstinent, you're helping others. And so oddly enough, that was like exactly what got me into this program was like, I never quite had the self-esteem to think that I could be abstinent for myself and that it would be a good thing for me and, for my health. It was always just sort of like about other people. And I think this is hilarious personally, but my logic for getting me into the Gray Sheet rooms was I was, let me think, 22, maybe 23, living at home with my parents. I had a great job, but I was living at home with my parents. And I think I'd just broken up with my boyfriend and I wasn't upset about it. It was like pretty clear that it needed to happen and he was moving away. And, we'd been together for like 4 years or something. But anyway, so like, but like my whole process of thinking was here I am, 23. I had no business getting married. I had no business getting, having a kid. But my thinking was, if I ever get pregnant, I can't start Gray Sheet while I'm pregnant because that would just be really hard. So I might as well start it now just to kind of, get that out of the way. Right. You know, I didn't come into this room because I was a very logical person. I came into this room because I was a very desperate person. Thank you, Karen. I see that. Um, so that's what got me here. Um, so, um, if anybody here is in kind of their early days of abstinence, it's really hard in the beginning. And you know, you're asking your body to do so much. You're asking your spirit and your mind to do so much, which is to let go of the thing that comforted you and made sense to you. And you're asking your body to let go of an addictive substance. And so, um, treating yourself like you're sick, I ended up, what I found the most helpful was like, my full-time job, my 24-hour full-time job is to stay abstinent in a day. If I happen to go to work and accomplish something, if I happen to wash a dish, awesome. Those are lovely little bonuses on top of my day. But the abstinence is like my primary calling. And so part of what happens is when you put abstinence first like that, um, well, first of all, you get abstinent, which is amazing. But the other thing is that, the mechanics start to get easier. And, um, I will say that my abstinence still is my primary full-time job, but because I've got it kind of nailed down and I've learned over the years what I like, what I don't like, what I need to do, how late I can go without a meal and, that kind of stuff. Like, because I've learned all of that, the most important thing in my life, which is abstinence, has gotten smaller. It's still the most important thing, but it doesn't take up as much space. And so now there's all the space for all kinds of other things. And for me, since getting abstinent, that has been, oh my gosh, like whole new career, getting a graduate degree, um, getting married, having two kids. Um, I mean, the no matter what's that come with life. And you know, also, again, one of the other things I like to say a lot is abstinence doesn't solve my problems, but it gives me a shot at sanity. And so it creates the conditions for sanity. It doesn't give me sanity. So it means that I can do the work that I need to do to get sane. And right now, that's a lot of hard work. I'm confronting a lot of my patterns in my past and my childhood and how I handle my grief, how I handle my sadness. And man, that is hard work. And man, that is, there's like a trillion other things that I would love to be doing instead of, staring into my navel and contemplating my soul. But, that's just what my life, what my higher power is calling me to do right now. And so I think for me, my biggest, no matter what, is that, I have a mentor in my work who is somebody that she's been a mother figure for me, and definitely a mother figure in the sort of like, sometimes we're at each other's throats, but generally speaking, we really do love each other. And she's in the hospital now, and she's dying, and she's talking to me about planning her memorial service. And that's a hard thing to hear, but I'm also taking very careful notes because I know she will come back to haunt me if I don't do it exactly the way that she wants it. So it's a hard time. It's a joyful time. But with God's help and with all of you, it's an abstinent time, right? And that's, oh man, that is such an important gift. So Karen, I love that little timer. It's just like helping me to wind myself up, just in time. So thanks for letting me share. And no matter what,